everyone, and welcome to Talkative Thursdays, the podcast series cutting through the jargon to give you the real scoop on living, learning, and growing abroad, and help you find these opportunities for free. I'm Carmen from Eurodesk, and I couldn't be more excited to present this podcast happening during the month of October, as a part of the Time to Move campaign. We are here to spill the tea with former participants, and today we're kicking off with the most underrated form of mobility: active citizenship and participation. Alright, let's get real for a sec. We have been all there, right? You're talking to someone, the vibes are kind of there, but you have zero idea if it's a thing or not. You are deep in a situationship. Well, what if I told you that our relationship with our community, our country, and even all of Europe is basically the same thing? It's a situationship. And if you don't speak up, you get ghosted by the future. This isn't just about politicians or boring meetings. This is about real people doing real things. It's about the kind of story you can write. If you ever felt like needing to make your voice and the voice of young people heard, in this episode you will find out how to do it, exploring the different opportunities out there to get involved and become an active citizen, to glow up that confusing situationship into serious involvement in our community. Today we have with us Emma Bronrick-Fenech, a young activist and former participant of the pool of young journalists in Europe. Welcome, Emma.
Hello, thank you for having me.
It's great to have you. And could you also tell us something about your journey? How did you become an activist?
Well, I was always interested in active participation and making my voice heard because I was the type of person in the back of the class, always with my hand raised and asking questions and wanting to know more and just not really satisfied with the face blank answer that they would give us at school when I'd ask something.
That really suits you.
Yeah. My teacher at the time noticed that I had this eagerness to learn more, to make my voice heard even more, and maybe I could represent the school in some events. So he chose me and a few other students from the school, and we represented my school called Young Reporters for the Environment, and that was the first I remember activity event that I took part in. But before that, I was always active, for example, in the school plays, or if they have a small, Easter competition or a Christmas card competition, I'd always put my name down. I'd always want to stay busy and learn something new.
Okay, so I see that you never had this kind of situationship with the activism because it was always inside of you.
Yeah, it's strange, but I always had this curiosity and I always wanted to learn more, and I found that participation, the active censorship really stood out to me. Yeah.
And in fact, how did you end up taking part in the pool of young journalists in Europe?
That year, I had applied for my bachelor's in journalism, and I was scrolling through Facebook, and I got a post from my national art agency, which is from Malta. And I saw this call for the pool of young journalists. I had no idea what it is. I tried to search it up, but I didn't find that much information. But I said, hey, I'm 18 years old. This is funded by the commission, so it's for free. Let me apply and see what happens. I applied. I got accepted. I was shocked, but I was happy, of course. But when I told my mother about this, she was quite skeptical at first because she thought, who wants to take my daughter to Brussels? I have to find out immediately who is the Stefanos. And the viewers who don't know, Stefanos is the person that is in charge of the pool of young journalists and is the communication officer of Eurodesk Brussels link. So she had no idea who he is. She thought that he was going to kidnap me. So she reached out to the national agency and they reassured her, of course, that the pool of young journalists is not a scam. And she let me go, of course. But that's the story of how I became a pool of young journalists.
Yeah, well, definitely is a funny story to tell.
Yes.
It's fun that in the end you are here also. And thank you for joining. I'm not thinking that we are a scam.
No,
we are not.
The pool of young journalists is not a scam, okay? apply. The Pool of Young Journalists is a really good opportunity if you are interested in journalism and if you want to learn about EU affairs and making your voice heard in an EU level.
Yeah. And also thanks to the national coordinators in all Europe, also in Malta in this case, that can solve these questions
always,
and be there.
The national agency always provides you with all the necessary information. If you have any questions, they always respond to you. It's really helpful.
Yes, it's good that Eurodesk is around all Europe to support young people with that. And that's very interesting. But I would also like to ask you about different things. Like, okay, now you were writing for one of the most viewed pages of the European Commission. How is that? Can you tell us something?
Well, aligning it like that, it feels like there's a lot of pressure for us young journalists because it's one of the most viewed websites in the whole of Europe. But at first, I really didn't think that much about it because I was so eager and so looking forward to writing articles and making my voice heard on an EU level that it took me a while to really take it in and say, okay, now we have this responsibility to write articles that are viewed in the whole of Europe. So I had to make sure that the articles that I write are interesting for young people, but also young people from all different parts of Europe can relate to that. So at first I went in with this island mentality since I come from Malta that I have to make sure that young people know what Malta is and our story and making my country heard. But then as the year went along, I realized, Emma, this is the European Youth Portal, you need to write about European things. So at some point I changed my strategy and I made sure that young voices in Europe and the topics that they're interested in, their voice was being heard European-wide, not only Maltese-wide. Yes,
that's nice. I guess that you also met a lot of other people very interested in journalism during this experience.
Yes. And it's really nice to find young people that have this eagerness to shape the next generation of journalism. And I'm really happy that the next generation of young journalists in Europe, they have a really bright future ahead of them when it comes to opportunities. And the Pool of Young Journalists offers them that chance.
It's great. And you should definitely try if you have the chance.
You should.
Yes. It opens
a lot of amazing doors. For example, after the Pool of Young Journalists, I had opportunities, for example, going to America, continuing my studies with my bachelor, but also having insight, feedback from the mentors that we had during the Pool of Young Journalists. Now I'm going to be a TV presenter for the first time in my life.
That's crazy, eh? It's amazing.
But the Pool of Young Journalists has opened a lot of doors, especially in the EU bubble. For example, now I'm here with Eurodesk again, doing Erasmus Plus internship, and I'm really grateful for that because if it wasn't because of the Pool of Young Journalists, I wouldn't have been here because I wouldn't have this relationship with Eurodesk at the first place. So really, thank you.
Oh yeah, it's great to have you with us. Of course,
thank you.
It's really, really nice that you can be here. And I also want to keep on asking you questions. Because, actually, there are very interesting things that you can tell us. And from your perspective, maybe you can tell us what you think what is the biggest challenge of participation? What's, for you, the biggest challenge?
The biggest challenge when it comes to participating is we live in a world where at the touch of a button, we can find so much information that as a young person starting out, they don't really know where to find certain information and where to find opportunities that are a right fit for them. So for sure, when it comes to starting with participating, I would say first go on the Eurodesk Opportunity Finder.
Yeah, very, very good.
Yes.
It always opens a lot of opportunities.
Now the challenge is there's a lot of disinformation. So the challenge is knowing where you can find the right kind of information when it comes to participating and applying to opportunities. So Eurodesk Opportunity Finder, that is where you should start. If you feel overwhelmed, just write Eurodesk Opportunity Finder, and you can find all the opportunities there. You can participate, fully funded opportunities. You can find opportunities related to learning, volunteering, participating, such as the pool of young journalists. And you can find scholarships, grants, trainees, everything.
I really think that's the best promo that we ever had on the Opportunity Finder.
I got trained well, guys.
So it's really an amazing tool. It's really cool.
It really is.
And you can
it's
filter.
It's really underrated. You should, like, if you have your friends that are confused on where to start participating, just direct them to Eurodesk Opportunity Finder.
And I don't know, maybe you can give us some tips.
Yes, okay. So since, like I said before, we live in an age where you can find a lot of information and there might be a chance where you can find a lot of disinformation, the first thing I would do is go on social media and follow the organizations or some subjects that you are interested in. And make sure you turn on the notifications on when they post, so you are already updated and informed immediately when this organization or the topic that you are interested in they posted something new. They posted a new opportunity or an event that you can participate, and you can check the link and apply immediately. And also, if you don't have LinkedIn, get it now. And try to network and connect with people that are in the field that you are interested in, because people on LinkedIn, they can also upload events or opportunities that are happening. You can subscribe to newsletters on LinkedIn, and you can subscribe to newsletters from social media. They can redirect you to their website, and you can subscribe to newsletters there, so you have information coming from your social media platforms, from your LinkedIn, from your email, and at some point your algorithm will know that you are interested in applying to opportunities. So this is what happens to me. I get notifications from Google that opportunities are happening, so and that I should check it out and give it a look. And if you post on LinkedIn, you can have people from the industry messaging you to apply or be part of certain events. But it's never too late to start, and if you have this eagerness to participate, go ahead.
There's another tip that could be that don't get intimidated by democracy, or complex words.
Yes, because democracy is here to serve the people. And what is the meaning of democracy nowadays? Is politicians, of course. And politicians are there to serve you. They are there for you. They are there to make your voice heard. So if you have a question, or if you want to know more about a certain topic or a certain policy that's happening in your local council, in your parliament, don't be afraid to hesitate to reach out to your local politicians or even MEPs in this case, if you live somewhere in the EU, because we sometimes might feel that we are sort of disengaged from the EU as a whole, but the policies and the laws that they approve, that they vote for, our MEPs, they affect our day-to-day life. So it's important, if you have a question or a concern, don't be afraid to hesitate or contact your MEPs or your politicians, because at the end of the day, they are there for you. They got your vote, so you have to make sure that your concerns, your voice is being heard.
You also can reach out to these politicians.
Yes. For example, during my stay in Brussels, I was really curious about the European Parliament, and I wanted maybe to have some visits there. And I reached out to one of my MEPs, and I reached out to him through Instagram. And not even 30 minutes later, my MEP sent me a voice message. And I was so shocked, because this is like the peak of transparency, having this trust between your MEPs and your politicians. Don't be afraid to make the first step. Okay, sometimes I do message certain people and I don't get a response back, but at the end of the day, I'll just write another message to a different person. Don't be afraid to get rejected at first. It's okay if, for example, you apply to certain opportunities and you don't hear back from them. Message them and say, hey, can you please follow up on the application that I did? Did I get accepted or not? Can you please confirm? And this is the beauty of participation and active citizenship, because at the end of the day, you are making your voice heard.
Do you think that participation can be more engaging for other people that maybe they don't...
Of course, the beauty and what I see from you gaining, from participating in certain projects, initiatives, events, is that you have this sense of belonging and knowing that at the end of the day, your work, dedication, and like your voice is truly being heard. That like at least my voice, my perspective on how I see the world and what should be changed is being acknowledged and is being heard, and that I belong in this world, and that I know that what I think, I do have a platform, and there's some sort of event or initiative that my voice can be there, and my ideas can be turned into policies,
Legislation? Yes, it's a difficult word.
Yes.
This is another topic. Like there are a lot of difficult words.
Because sometimes you start participating and being like civically engaged because you're noticing that people around you are not really caring anymore. And sometimes having this passive tone to world, especially to politics and democracy, can really spiral into a lot of negativity. So knowing that you and other young people have this voice and have this platform, have these events, like Time to Move Now, it's really inspiring that you say at least there is some positives in the world, and there are people that want to hear my voice. Not everyone, but there's a reason why some people don't want to hear your voice, because you have a fresh idea and they're just like not prepared for it.
Not everyone is prepared for for
a fresh new start, a new chapter. Everyone wants to continue doing it, the old ways. It's like how we entered, technology. Like no one wanted it at first, but then they realized, the benefits of it. Of course, there are downsides to it, but there are two sides of the coin always.
It's also important that you make your spot there, that you make your place.
Yes.
And also maybe you have to work on yourself and in your confidence and being really sure that you want to be there, and
Exactly.
don't let any person or anyone tell you that you don't belong there, because actually we're all needed, and the voices of young people are needed and
exactly.
must
And
be heard.
in fact, at the end of the day, after when it comes to a national or an EU election, these politicians at the end of the day will come knocking at your door and asking for your vote. So at least they should listen to your concerns, because if they want your vote, then they should earn it. And they should earn it by listening to your concerns and seeing that your voice is being heard and represented.
Certainly. And also, what would you tell to someone that wants to get involved but they don't know how to get started?
Okay, how to get started is Eurodesk opportunity finder. How they should start is first grasp what subjects you're really interested in. Because, for example, I'm really not interested in the economy. So if you tell me that there is an event about, for example, Bitcoin, I'm gonna be extremely bored, and I don't even want to engage. So first acknowledge the topics that you are interested in. For example, the environment, climate change, and you try and go on Google, and then check your national agencies of Eurodesk if they have events coming up, and check if those events align with your interests. And like we mentioned before, go on social media, check if there are any local organizations, and if not, why not starting your own project if there isn't anything related to your field.
There's also a possibility, for example, with the Solidarity Project.
Exactly. European Solidarity Corps. You can volunteer in other countries that discover you if you are going to turn 18. Humanitarian aid if you are past until the age from 18 to 35. It's like the European Solidarity Corps.
Yeah.
The pool of young journalists, the EU Youth Dialogues, which is very important as well. The European Youth Event, the European Youth Week.
Yes.
There's so many opportunities. Even just thinking about the opportunities, it puts a smile on my face because at least there are these events where you can meet new people like youths your age that are at the end of the day also interested in the topics that you are in, and you can meet new people, share your interests, discuss topics that are related to you, and make your voice heard. And that's the beauty of participation, because without you noticing, you are actively engaged in it. And active participation from a hobby, it ends up, at least for me, part of my routine. I don't even acknowledge it that I'm doing something that impactful, because it became so natural to me that I find an opportunity and I apply immediately. And then I say, oh no, I can't do this.
You went through all the different levels of participation that are out there.
Yes.
Because you can start from the smaller parts and then go into the biggest impact.
It's a step-by-step process. You start from your local, and then you gradually continue to step up. But hey, the sky's the limit. If it's your first time participating and, for example, you want to go to a different country, go for it. No one's stopping you.
Yes. And also now, October is the perfect moment to get information about this, because it's time to move, of course. And that means that there are events happening all over Europe, near you. And you can check the Time to Move website. Yes. And there you have a map in which you can find all the activities that are out there. Information activities. Have you ever participated in one?
No, I have not, but I am going to participate in one this year.
Yes. Tell us, what is the activity about?
I think it's going to be in my college. I think there's going to be a stand about Time to Move, and there's going to be a small event. So I'm gonna have a look and see what it is.
Yes, that's great. I mean, I think that in general you gave a really good idea, really good tips on how you cannot just wait for information to come to you.
Yes, because sometimes we're so eager to participate, but we expect everything to happen for us. Like you have to be motivated. You have to apply for it yourself. You can't expect, for example, youth workers or the national agency to apply for you. Okay, they will provide you with the information, but you have to apply it for it yourself, because you have to fill in certain details that only you know. Yeah.
And also to be confident, even if you think that you don't fulfill all the requirements, right? And of course, it's always great to have engaged people and people that it's always willing to do these things. Thank you, Emma, for all this information.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. It's always great. And of course, thank you everyone for listening to this podcast.
I hope it was engaging. I hope it was insightful. I hope now you have the Eurodesk opportunity finder labeled in your bookmark or starred in your browser. So you always have it handy. A fun fact. During my lectures, I always browse on the opportunity finder because there's always something new every day.
True. It gets
always
updated.
Be updated. And subscribe to the newsletter.
Yes, if you want to get them in the moment, it's the best way.
Yes.
So thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for spending this time with us and sharing about your experience and encouraging others. It's great to hear from people that experienced it before and to share this experience and help each other. We will be here during the whole month, and we will have more episodes, so please stay tuned. Every Thursday during this month of October, we have the Talkative Thursdays. We wait for you in the next episode. Thank you and have a very good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.